for now, I want to start off by having an interview with the warden, Janell Clement. She has been with the IDOC for several years. She's the warden over the prison, and we spoke for about 20 minutes. I want to play you this, and then I want to play you the tour, and then right here, I have the commissary list of what these women can order when they're in prison and what they're paying. It is quite detailed. Like, did you know that you can get a typewriter, correction tape, headphones, a Iron Man watch, a combination lock? It's all right here. I have the list right here. It's like 26 pages. I'll go through a few of them because we're always curious about that. But for now, let me play you my interview with the warden, Janell Clement. Okay, so I'm here with Janell Clement. She is the warden here at the Pocatello Women's Correctional Center for the Idaho Department of Correction. Tell me, you guys are the only women's prison in the state?
No.
No, there's one more. Tell me about that.
There's two facilities in the Boise compound. They're in the South Boise complex, and one takes our riders, and the other facility takes minimum and medium custody women.
Okay, so you're the maximum security.
Correct.
And how many women are here?
356, give or take.
And what type of reasons why are they here? Why are these women here?
Lots of different reasons, from drug and alcohol charges, which is primarily a lot of what our women struggle with, and that's what their charges are, and on up to more egregious violent offenses.
What is a day like for people who are here at the prison?
It varies, honestly, between some will get up and go to work. They have facility jobs that they can go to, like kitchen. They're helping prepare the meals for the ladies that are here. And they get up early. They'll go to the kitchen. They'll work. They'll come home in the middle of the day and then pick up their education. We have ladies enrolled in college, so they will engage in their college courses after that. They can go to recreation and walk around outside, or use the weights that are in there, or some of the other different amenities that are offered in rec.
And for those that want to go to like a library, is there a library, books, or?
There is a library. They don't get to visit the library and have access to that, but they do on their tiers have access to the books that are available in the library. So they fill out a form on the ones that they'd like to check out, and then they're brought to them. So it happens once a week. They can do a library book exchange.
So a lot of people have questions about what happens in a prison. We're curious about stuff like that because there's been television shows
Absolutely.
that show probably not the reality of it. And then you hear about celebrities that go to these really cushion facilities. Mm-hmm. So what is life like here? I mean, how would you describe it?
It's a pretty normal day, honestly, for the most part. It just depends on what they're engaged in and the things that they're choosing to do while here, whether it's programming classes, education classes, mental health classes that are available. And so it can just vary from moment to moment on up to sometimes we have a little bit harder days that are a little more engaged.
You mentioned mental health. How big of an issue? I would imagine that's got to be a huge issue, not just in this prison, but worldwide.
Absolutely, it is. It's becoming more prevalent with the society these days. We're getting more chronically mentally ill folks in. We have the behavioral health unit for women in the state of Idaho, so they are housed here if they have significant mental health concerns and diagnosis, so they are admitted to our behavioral health unit, and while they're in there they get help with medication. They have access to counselors, DBT groups, and things that will help them really learn more about their mental illness, how they can proceed forward, give them some coping skills, some ways to adjust so that when they are released they're stable on some medication and they have the coping skills to go forth and be a productive member of society.
What about dental care, medical care, things like that? How does that work?
We have infirmary for the state, so women can come and stay in our infirmary and can get admitted there if they have more significant medical issues. But we have medical access, dental access. We have ortho that comes in, which is, if they need eye exams. We have radiology come in. We have physical therapy come in. There are on occasion off-site appointments that they have to go to, but like obstetrics and gynecology comes in and takes care of our women who are getting ready to deliver, and they get treated for that. So we have a really good system and access to all sorts of medical care that they need. They do pay for their medical care in most instances, so it's not free to them.
So a lot of women come here and they want to better themselves. Mm-hmm. So they can get a job. Can they get a job? And what are some educational opportunities for them?
Yes, we have about 130 jobs that they're able to apply for.
130? Mm-hmm. All on site here?
Yes.
Wow.
So it ranges from janitors on a unit to going to kitchen. You have 2 shifts for kitchen, morning shift and night shift, to recreation workers, to ILD, which is, kind of like janitorial services in the hallways, laundry workers, we have property workers, medical janitor, we have work crew at our Unit 1, which is like our community reentry center, and they have jobs on whether they go on a work crew to provide services in the community, or they're on work release and they go to a job in the community and then return.
So tell me about some of the educational opportunities to here with the women.
Absolutely. We have an opportunity through our educational programs that women can get their associate's degree, their bachelor's degree while they're here. We partner with several colleges around the state where they offer opportunities with a Second Chance Pell Grant and other financial opportunities for them to engage in education that they are responsible for. And they really are finding that super successful. You can also get certifications while you're in our custody as well, like through NCCER. So you've got the construction trades with maintenance, electrician, all of the different various vocational programs that you might think of.
Right.
We have a gal that left with her forklift certification, and she went out and got a job in the community that was paying her $20+ an hour. So she is now a contributing citizen and doing really, really well in the community. It set her up for success to have those degrees, that certification, and the skills so that when you walk out, you can pay your fines and fees, you can give back to restitution, and you can be a really good providing citizen in the community, because 97% of our people incarcerated will be coming out and will be your neighbor. And
97.
So,
Yeah.
And so we want to, reinforce for people that public safety is our number one important thing, and accountability. And you can do that through treating people with humanity and also education, providing them skills so that they can go out and really be better prepared for their family and their lives to be a contributing member of society. The goal, right, is for them to not return to us ever, not just not recidivate, but to not come back into the criminal justice system.
Yeah. So when these inmates come here, is this something that's totally up to them to decide, I'm going to get my degree, or are there some that just want to lay down all day and watch TV?
There are some that don't engage in extra programming. They have to do the programming that's required to them when they come in based on what their risk levels are and their needs, and that is ordered to them, and that's through the court services. And so they attend those classes. They're mandatory. It really is, if you choose to want to do something different with your life, to engage in those certification, those construction classes, the online college classes. We have some teachers that come in and teach some classes as well, and push their secondary education and go home and want to leave with something better than they came in with. We have a lot of women, though, that are in those programs and being successful, and so really their word of mouth is the powerful thing. They go out and talk to their bunkies about how wonderful the things that they're learning is, and they are just enjoying class and didn't realize that they're really great at math and they had no idea. So the power of spreading that is through the women themselves and being able to articulate it, what it's doing for them, and it offers just a glimmer of hope. If they can do it, I can do it. And so it really provides a great pathway through the system in order to get them out, prepare them for community supervision or not community supervision, to be a better contributing member.
How do you handle and work with the women who are here for life, or those that are on death row? I believe there's only one at this point, but how are things different with those particular inmates?
It just varies, but for the most part, they have access to those programs. Death row is handled a little differently and separately, but honestly, our other ones who are here for life have access to the education programs, have access to our mentors, and have access to education. They absolutely can engage in that and come up with degrees and diplomas and certifications.
Everybody wants to know about the food in prison and in jail. What type of meals are here? I know some smaller rural counties in Idaho actually have restaurants that give the meals because they don't have a cooking staff. Some use pot pies or frozen freezer meals. What are the things like here at this facility?
Yeah, we don't use that. The food is strictly made by our food service officers, and our residents help prepare the meals. And so I think they offer a good variety of things. They have favorites, right? Some of the meals are their most favorite, I think, is a Chinese dish that has rice, or it's chicken and rice. There's a few things that are the favorites. Pizza, I hear, is another one. So they have a variety of things, and others, like most places you eat, are just not their favorites. But they do make it fresh and make it here daily. We have the food shipped in, and it is cooked right here in the facility.
And how does commissary work?
Commissary is an interesting topic. We contract with Keefe Commissary, and then they have access to the menu that Keefe offers. So for instance, if you offer sweats on the commissary, like a pants or a sweatshirt or a t-shirt, you have access to buy that with the own money that is on your books.
I see.
So if you have family members or from working in a job and you have money on your commissary account, you can purchase those things. It's extra, like we take care of all their needs, like their housing, their clothing, their medical, like that's here for them. But it's extra things you might want on top of that. Like for women, hair dye is pretty popular. And
makeup?
There is makeup on, it's limited amount, but there is some small capacity of those things that are important to help you with your self-esteem and your self-worth. They don't have access to a lot. It's a lot more of chips and soda. The prices are fairly steep on those. And so when you're working with a job that only pays you 40 cents an hour, it doesn't build up a lot of money in your commissary account to be able to purchase things that are really pricey on that commissary menu.
But they can get it if, family members add money to their account. Is that where they can buy like a TV?
Correct.
And do they have internet access?
They do not.
They don't, but you can get a tablet to email and things like that.
They offer a tablet. We're just switching to a new tablet system that I think will offer them some better capacity. If they're engaging in education, it's hooked to a different ICANN service, but they do not have access to connect to Wi-Fi and have any of that access, no.
Have you always worked in the Women's Center, Janell?
Yes, previously I've worked in juvenile corrections and misdemeanor probation and parole, and in the social work world, I'm a therapist by trade before becoming a warden. So,
what got you interested in this career?
Just being a social worker, caring about people and wanting to make a difference in people's lives, and being able to role model, show them the way through. What are some coping skills? How can we do this? And honestly, the system is called, here is rehabilitation, but oftentimes we're habilitating. Some of the women don't even have skills to know how to budget, how to run a family, how to cook meals, very basic things that adulting aren't taught. How do you get insurance? What kind of insurance do you need? And so I just wanted to get involved and help. And when I was a younger gal, got involved in the social work program, got my bachelor's degree and master's degree, and worked at 5 County Detention and Juvenile Corrections in St. Anthony for about 10 years, and just fell in love with the population and the things that we're trying to do to help people have a productive life and be safe, learn from the choices they've made to move forward and become a better person in general.
There might be people watching that say, she's making it sound like a summer camp.
Correct.
How would you respond to those type of things? I mean, this is still a prison. This isn't like a camp where you're going to come for 3 weeks and go home.
No, absolutely not. No. Coming to prison, you're losing your rights, and the punishment is being, not instilled by us, but that's from the justice system, judges and such. Coming here, you do lose access to a lot of your freedoms. And the punishment isn't being in prison. The punishment is coming to prison and losing those freedoms. There are things that are not pleasant living in a prison. If you're on one tier that we have 33 women housed, you're one of 33 unopened bunks. On certain tiers and certain units, you have 33 women that you are vacillating for to use the bathroom, use the showers, and it's loud. Women like to talk, women like to communicate, and it can be really loud on occasion. And so that's not really conducive to healing. That's not really conducive to maybe wanting to change your behaviors and not engaging in that criminal thinking when you're hanging out with a lot of women who are here for a similar criminal thinking and mindset. It's most of my women, I would say we maybe get 10 women who have visits a month. So, and some of those are repeat. A lot of women don't have families or children that can come visit because their grandparents are taking care of the children while they're out there, and they can't afford to come to Pocatello. Boise, there's a lot more people, and we're kind of out here. And so there's not a lot of contact with children unless it's through the phone, or loved ones for any type of support system actually to be more conducive for helping them be ready for those supports and learning what they're doing while they're incarcerated, to come out and to support them with managing their lives and having to maintain the rules and accountability.
So what are some of the challenges you face running a prison?
Sure, there are always challenges. There's pros and cons to the job. And department-wide, we face a variety of challenges versus the difference of just being a person doing the job with my family and the things that I face, and being a warden here at a facility that is charged with the responsibility of 355 women, 100 volunteers, probably about 150 staff. So there's just varying sundries of things that can be challenges on any given day.
Right. Is it different, do you think, running a prison for women versus men?
I absolutely do, but I haven't ever run a facility for men. I've visited, but I haven't actually worked in a men's facility. I worked with juveniles, but in the system, but that were male and female. That being just a strictly facility of being a warden of a women's facility, to me, is very different than in a men's facility. Women like to ask a lot of questions. How come? Why? We just want to know. And the communication skills that are needed in a female facility are much higher than I think in a men's facility. They're just differences in personalities and genders that you find. But I also think that charges us to be really good communicators, to be able to help set better role models for people and teach them that there is hope moving forward in their life, to have better communication skills, and it increases their family skills going home. It increases their ability to have better communication with my officers. So there's really pros and cons to it, and I'm just preferential to wanting to help the women.
Yeah. Best part of the job?
People. I love the people. I love staff. I love the women that are here. I love helping people, right? So helping them see that they've made bad decisions not necessarily makes bad people, and the difference between the moral judgment and actions, right? I would think that most of us wouldn't want to be in the same situation. However, at any given day, you might make a decision that drop your phone, hit someone. It's not always things that are the most horrific crime in nature. We do have those, absolutely. But just looking at, if you see the hope come on in someone's eyes. I had a gal who, for probably 7 years that I knew her, was just more of a troublemaker, involved in some of the negative things that come with being involved with prison, negative associations, and acting out behavior. And she got engaged in the education program, and the light came on in her eyes, and she watched other women being successful and coming out with their degrees, and she was like, if they can do it, then I can do it. And so her life completely shifted gears 360. She started hanging out with other people and mentors and positive people that had the same goals, right? And had to kind of put the other friends to the side and say, I can't hang out with you right now, and change that arena. So for me, watching that hope come on and see that shift in the life change, hopefully is going to go forward, and they're going to touch a lot of other people's lives, like their families, their children, the people they work with, their probation and parole officers. So the hope that can spread, that people can go out and become contributing members of society and good citizens. They're going to be our next door neighbors. Yeah. That's why you treat people well with dignity. I think it's super important to develop a better, for lack of a better way to put it, a product, putting out into the community that wants to be good members of society, and really helps create a safer Idaho and increase public safety.
I understand you have a mentorship program here at the prison. How does that work?
It is absolutely phenomenal. We have a group of women who have become peer mentors. They go through a certification process of their own. They go through 12 weeks of classes and courses teaching from motivational interviewing to conflict resolution, anger management, self-esteem, self-worth classes in order to be a mentor for someone else. So once they go through that 12-week class, they're now eligible to become a mentor. They start at a bottom level. There's 3 different levels of certification, and the very top is a peer mentor. And when they reach those different levels, they can do different things, but they really are a support to women in the facility. So women supporting other women. That lived experience, I think, is so powerful in order to help them see a different way, right? In prison, if you think about, you're all here for all of them, negative circumstances. And so when you see somebody trying to be positive, how do you harness onto that so they can model that behavior, help engage them in classes that are really going to give them the self-esteem boost, help them have budgeting skills, help them have communication skills, and it just seems to flow from there. So our mentors are very powerful in engaging people in education, changing behavior, supports for if somebody's feeling down and you don't have access, in the night to a clinician. So really they provide a bunch of support that is better provided by that one-on-one peer mentoring system than it is by staff. We're not here living the lived experience every day.
Right, yeah, because you're with somebody that's going through it with you.
Yes.
And can see you eye to eye, whereas a staff member might not know the experience.
It's just powerful.
Yeah.
That lived experience is really powerful. And so we rely on that to help shape the decisions we're making and doing what's right for facility safety and for our residents as well.
Well, hopefully everybody watching, you now can know about the Pocatello Women's Correctional Center, that you don't have to come here and live. Otherwise, you'll see Janell maybe every day. But I appreciate you being candid about what goes on here and some of the opportunities that the inmates have, the residents have. And thank you very much.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for coming.